It all began a few months ago when my best friend and I started planning what we called our dream trip. We'd been talking about it for weeks, hyping each other up, imagining the places we'd visit, and counting down the days like kids waiting for a holiday. We saved money, marked the dates on our calendars, picked out the activities we wanted to do, and kept talking about the memories we'd finally get to make together. But then, just a week before we were supposed to leave, I got a text from her that completely blindsided me. "I'm sorry, I just can't afford it right now," she wrote. "I'm really bummed about it, but I'll have to cancel." I just stared at my phone, stunned and honestly heartbroken. We had been planning this for so long. She had seemed just as invested and excited as I was. Her canceling out of nowhere felt wrong. But I tried to stay calm and understanding. I told her I knew finances could get tough, and that I didn't want her to feel pressured if she couldn't swing it. Still, something felt off. She'd never mentioned any money problems before. I figured maybe she'd had a rough month or an unexpected expense, so I tried reassuring her. I even offered to cover part of her costs if it would help. We'd been friends for years, and I really wanted us to take this trip together. But she refused immediately. "Please don't worry about it. It's just not a good time for me," she insisted. I kept trying to push down the uneasy feeling in my gut, telling myself I was overthinking it. A few days passed and I tried to move on, but then something happened that I couldn't just brush off. I was scrolling through my social media when a new post from her popped up. It was a picture, her standing in an airport, suitcase beside her, looking thrilled and carefree, and right next to her was someone else. She had taken our trip, the exact one we spent months planning, but she'd gone with somebody else. I felt like my world tilted. My stomach dropped as I stared at the screen, rereading the caption, zooming in on the photo, trying to convince myself I was misunderstanding something. Had she lied? Was this some messed up joke? I couldn't comprehend how she could cancel on me and then leave on the same trip with another person. As if I wouldn't find out. Anger, confusion, sadness, betrayal. Everything hit me at once. I reached out to her, but I didn't even know what to say. I typed and erased messages over and over until finally I just asked her what was going on. No response. The silence made it worse. Why wouldn't she answer me? Did she really think I'd just ignore this? I needed answers, so I called her. My heart was pounding. When she picked up, she sounded happy, like nothing was wrong. "Hey, I'm in such an amazing place. I can't wait to tell you all about it," she said, practically glowing through the phone. I cut straight to the point. "Why didn't you tell me? You said you couldn't afford it, but you're there, with someone else. What is happening?" There was a long, heavy pause. Then she took a deep breath. "I didn't think you'd understand," she said quietly. "I didn't know how to tell you, but I've been planning this with someone else for a while. I wanted to go, but I didn't know how to back out of our plans without disappointing you." Her words hit me like a slap. "So you lied? You could have just told me the truth. Instead, you made me feel guilty for even offering to help you." She hesitated. "I didn't want to hurt you, but I didn't want to cancel on the other person either. It was complicated and I panicked. Listening to her made me feel worse. I had always been there for her, and this was what I got? Being replaced without a second thought? I felt the betrayal settle deep in my chest. "So that's it? You just didn't think I deserved honesty?" I asked, my voice trembling. She didn't have a real answer, just excuses and a sigh. "I didn't want to let you down, but I know I did anyway." I was overwhelmed. I ended the call and told her I needed space. After hanging up, something clicked for me. I couldn't just swallow this. I couldn't keep being the person who let others get away with hurting me. I needed to confront her properly. I deserved closure. When she got back from the trip, I called her and said we needed to talk face to face. She sounded surprised, but agreed to meet at a cafe. By the time I arrived, I was filled with nerves, anger, sadness, everything at once. She came in a few minutes later looking tanned and relaxed, like she had zero stress in her life. She smiled at me, but I couldn't smile back. After a tense silence, I asked directly, "Why? Why didn't you just tell me the truth? Why lie instead of being honest from the start?" She shifted in her seat, clearly uncomfortable. "Because I didn't think you'd understand. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't know how to cancel without upsetting you." Lying felt easier in the moment. Her explanation hurt even more. "So you thought lying was the better option? You really think I'd prefer being deceived over being disappointed?" She looked down, guilt written all over her face. "I know. I'm sorry. I messed up." I took a breath, trying to steady myself. "It's not just the trip," I said. "It's the trust. You lied, and now I don't know what else you haven't been honest about." She looked up at me with tears in her eyes. "I don't want to lose you. I'll do whatever it takes to fix this. I'm genuinely sorry." Hearing her say that made something inside me twist. I wanted to believe her. But the pain was still raw. I need time, I told her. I can't just snap my fingers and pretend this didn't happen. She nodded. I understand. I know I broke your trust. I'll be here whenever you're ready. We sat in silence, both processing the damage. I didn't know if our friendship could ever go back to what it once was. I wasn't ready to completely walk away from our friendship, not yet. I left the cafe with my heart feeling heavier than ever, still unsure about what I truly wanted. The betrayal cut deep, but I wasn't about to make a decision I might regret later. Maybe time would help things heal, or maybe it wouldn't. I didn't know. All I knew was that for the moment I needed to focus on myself and figure out what was honestly best for me. The days that followed were rough. Every time my phone buzzed with her name on the screen, my chest tightened. Part of me wanted to reply, to tell her that maybe, just maybe, I was ready to forgive her and move forward. But then the memories would hit me again, sharp and painful. The hurt, the lies, the image of her smiling on a trip that should have been ours. The sting of betrayal lingered no matter how hard I tried to shake it. I spent a lot of those days reflecting on our friendship, everything we had been through, every memory we'd built over the years. She had always been one of the most important people in my life. But this time, this felt different. I felt like an afterthought, like I wasn't significant enough to be considered when she made her real plans. And the more I sat with that thought, the more obvious it became that things had changed. Trust doesn't rebuild overnight, and each day the silence grew between us. I felt myself drifting further away, unsure if repairing something so cracked was even possible anymore. I pulled back from social media for a bit, hoping space would help clear my head. But then, almost as if the universe wanted to test me, I stumbled across another post. A photo of her with a different friend, the two of them arm in arm, laughing like they didn't have a single problem in the world. The caption was simple, but it stabbed me straight in the heart. Can't imagine life without you. It felt like a direct hit, like watching myself be replaced right in front of my eyes. Without thinking, I texted her. So I guess you've moved on, she replied fast. What do you mean? I didn't want to say it, but the words came out anyway. You've already replaced me. Clearly someone else is better than I ever was. There was a long stretch of silence before her response finally came. I didn't mean to make you feel that way. You're important to me. I messed up. I know I did. I don't want to lose you, but I understand if you need space. I just stared at her message, a lump forming in my throat. She had messed up badly, yes, but maybe I had too. A part of me wanted so desperately to forgive her, to pretend we could pick up where we left off. But another part of me was terrified that if I opened up again, she'd hurt me again, that the cycle would repeat. I spent the rest of the day in a fog, torn, confused, knowing I needed to make a choice but not ready to actually make one. Deep down, though, I knew the truth. Things could never just go back to how they were. Not after everything. Days passed, and the uneasy feeling stayed with me. My mind repeated the events like a loop. The canceled trip, the photos, her excuses, the conversations. I kept checking her social media when I shouldn't have, trying to understand her, but it only made the ache worse. I started questioning myself. Maybe I was being overly sensitive, maybe I was blowing things out of proportion. But every time I tried to convince myself to let it go, the hurt came flooding right back. Then one evening, as I was scrolling on my phone, her message appeared, I miss you. I froze. My heart squeezed. For a moment, all I did was stare at the screen. Did I want to open that door again, or would it just lead to more pain? Finally, I typed back, I miss you too, but I don't know how to move forward. Her reply came immediately, almost frantic. I get it. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I want to fix this. I know I messed up. I'm sorry. I don't want to lose you as a friend. Reading her words, I could feel the truth in them, or at least she sounded like she meant it. But I couldn't ignore the voice inside me whispering reminders of every broken promise, every time I'd believed she'd change, every time I'd ended up disappointed. Still, despite everything, another part of me didn't want to let her go. We had years of memories, years of closeness, too much history to throw away without at least trying to repair what was damaged. So I agreed to meet again, this time at the park near my place. We wanted a real conversation, face to face, no interruptions and no excuses. When I got there, she was already sitting on a bench waiting. She looked up immediately when she saw me, relief washing over her face, though I could tell she was nervous. Honestly, I was too. I'm glad you came, she said quietly as I sat down. Silence stretched between us before I finally spoke. I've been thinking a lot about everything, and I can't just pretend nothing happened. You lied to me. You hurt me. That's not easy to move past. She nodded, eyes filled with regret. I know. And I'm not asking you to forget it. I've made mistakes and I won't try to excuse them. I want a chance to make things right. For a moment I felt myself sway. She sounded so sincere, but sincerity doesn't erase pain. I don't know if we can just go back to how things were, I admitted softly. But I'm willing to try. I just need to know I'm not going to get hurt like that again. Her expression softened, emotion rising in her eyes. I understand, and I'll prove to you that I'm not that person anymore. I'll show up, I'll be there, I won't let you down again. It was the reassurance I needed, even if it didn't erase every doubt. Maybe, just maybe, we could rebuild what was broken. But I knew it wouldn't happen overnight, and I knew it depended on whether she truly meant her words this time. It wasn't going to be easy, I knew that. Rebuilding something broken takes time, trust, and patience. But for the first time in days after that conversation at the park, I felt a small flicker of hope. Even so, things didn't magically fall back into place. They were different, but not in the way I had hoped. We tried again, we really did. We hung out, laughed at old jokes, revisited the memories that had once made our friendship so effortless, and even started planning a new trip. This time one we both could genuinely afford. But underneath all of that there was a shift, a distance. The closeness we once had, the connection that made her the person I trusted more than anyone, just wasn't there anymore. It wasn't that she had changed completely. It wasn't that I had either. It was the weight of everything that had happened. An awkwardness that hovered between us like a shadow I couldn't shake. At first, I convinced myself that maybe I was overthinking everything. Maybe rebuilding something that had been cracked would naturally feel strange at first. Maybe things needed time. But then came the day that changed everything again. She canceled plans, again. And this time the reason was weak. She said she was too tired and needed to rest. I didn't reply right away. I just stared at my phone, my mind flashing back to the last time she had canceled, and then posted pictures of herself out with someone else. My chest tightened as I opened her Instagram, and there it was, another photo of her at a coffee shop laughing with someone new. It felt like déjà vu. Like no matter how much I wanted to believe she had changed, she was still doing the same things. Lying, excluding me, replacing me. My anger started rising again, boiling under my skin, and this time I decided I wasn't staying silent. I wasn't going to let her keep hurting me just because I was afraid to lose someone I once considered my closest friend. So I texted her. I thought things were going to be different, but clearly they're not. I'm tired of being your second choice. She responded almost instantly. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry if you feel that way. I've just been busy. I never meant to make you feel unimportant. But her words didn't ring true anymore. If I was important, she wouldn't have pushed me aside repeatedly. She wouldn't be sharing moments with other people that she once promised to share with me. I wasn't a backup plan. I wasn't someone to be used when convenient. I deserved better. That night I made my decision. No more chances, no more waiting around for apologies that didn't change anything. No more hope that only left me disappointed in the end. The next day I called her. I told her I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine, that it was exhausting to keep putting myself in situations where I ended up hurt. I wished her the best, but I needed to step away, to take care of myself. Her voice cracked. She sounded like she wanted to fight for it, but I couldn't let myself be swayed this time. I'll always care about you, I told her, but I can't keep doing this. Maybe someday we can be friends again, but right now I need space. She went quiet. I could hear the pain in her silence. I'm really sorry, she whispered at last, but I wasn't looking for another apology. I didn't need more promises or explanations. I needed peace, and peace meant letting go. When I hung up the phone, a heavy weight lifted off my chest. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Sometimes the hardest thing we can do is walk away from someone who once meant everything to us, but I knew it had to be done. Over the next few days I kept thinking about my choice. In some ways, it felt freeing, like I had finally stopped carrying a responsibility that wasn't mine. No more questioning myself, no more wondering whether I was foolish for trying to hold on. But in other moments, it hurt more than I expected. I found myself missing the good times, the long conversations, the plans we'd made for the future. It felt surreal, almost unreal, that all of that was now just memories. I spent a lot of time reflecting, trying to understand how we got here, how something that once brought so much joy became something painful. Had it happened slowly through small disappointments over time? Or was there a moment, a turning point, I'd overlooked, and then it hit me? It wasn't just the trip that broke me. It was everything around it. The lies, the excuses, the times she left me hanging, the times she chose others over me. It wasn't one big betrayal, it was a pattern, one I had ignored because I didn't want to face the truth. I had been so desperate to keep the friendship alive that I let myself be treated like a backup. Then one afternoon I got a message from her. I've been thinking about everything, and I'm really sorry for how I treated you. I hope we can talk soon. Part of me wanted to ignore it, but another part wanted closure. Maybe hearing her out one last time would help me finally move on, so I agreed to meet. We met at a quiet cafe. When I walked in and saw her sitting alone at the corner table, she looked different, more serious, maybe even regretful. She offered a small smile when I sat down, but it didn't reach her eyes. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The silence felt heavy, full of all the words we weren't sure how to say. Finally, she broke it. I've been selfish. I know I've hurt you and I can't take it back. I realize now that I've been prioritizing other people and things over our friendship, and I'm so sorry. I listened but kept my guard up. She'd said she was sorry before. She'd promised to do better before. What made this time different? She continued, her voice shaky. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I want you to know I'm trying to be better. And if you ever want to try again, I'll be here. I thought about her words. Could I forgive her? Could I trust her? A part of me wanted to believe she had changed, but another part knew deep down that going back now would only lead me into the same cycle. So I told her the truth. I appreciate your apology. I really do. But I've realized I need to let go. I can't keep waiting for things to change when they never do. Her eyes filled with tears. I felt a pang of guilt, but I knew it was the right decision. Maybe someday, I said softly, we can reconnect. But for now, I need to move forward. We said our goodbyes, and as I walked out of the cafe, I felt both sadness and relief. It hurt, but it also felt right. I wasn't the same person who tolerated being treated as an option, and I wasn't going to allow it again. So what do you think? Did she make the right choice by walking away, or should she have given her friend one more chance? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe. There's plenty more drama, lessons, and real-life moments coming your way. You don't want to miss it.